Hello and welcome back. This is part 3 of my experiences with the Arcturians. So, I had just had that strange dream where it looked like somebody had opened my eye or my eyes and looked into my left eye with a pen light almost. That's the best way I can describe it. It was just a point of light right on my eye. But I was still in this dream state, in this sleep. Because I could hear the dream going on in the background, which is really strange. But it felt like my eyes were open. And I couldn't see anything. It was just dark. All I could see was that little point of light over my left eye. And then it was done. And then my eyes closed and went back to the dream. And I woke up the next morning. I didn't have any strange symptoms or anything like that when I woke up. And since then, my eye has been getting better, actually. So I was very happy that it's recovering, it's doing well. I don't have as many of those flashes as I do or did. So I discovered, after speaking to C, we'll call him C, after speaking to him, I said, was it you that was looking in my eye that night? And I learned from him that it was. That he was checking on me to make sure my left eye was okay. Which makes sense because, again, what he had communicated to me was that he was a doctor or a healer and a teacher. So I was happy that I had that experience. And to hear that he was the one that was actually looking after me. So I decided to have a reading with a psychic medium. My friend, her name is Christina. And she was talking with me on the phone at that point because at that point we were, states apart, 2 states apart. Or a state apart. So she said as I was speaking to her on the phone, she said, "Did you hear that?" And I stopped and I had her on speakerphone, and I said, "Hear what?" I said, "I didn't hear anything." And she said, "It was like this electronic voice," she said, and it said, "I am here," as soon as you started talking about C. She said, "You didn't hear that?" And I said, "No, I didn't hear it." She said, "Yeah." She said, "Wow, that was weird." She's like, "It spoke over your voice with just, 'I am here.' And it was as soon as you started talking about C, your Arcturian friend." And I was like, "What?" I said I was kind of bummed because I wanted to hear that. I was like, I would have loved to have heard that, And I learned then that he was indeed, the way she described him was a healer. So it kind of, it went hand in hand, and it confirmed what I had heard from him, telling me that he was like a doctor or a healer and a teacher. She had said that he was a healer, so I had confirmed that, thinking mentally, okay, that's, she's confirming that for me. And something interesting I also learned was that he could alter his size, is what she told me, because I had learned that he had told me that before. And so when I asked her, I said, how tall is he? And she said, "He's telling me he can alter his size, his height." And I said, "That's exactly what he told me too." So that was a nice confirmation as well. And I also learned that he didn't have just one ship, apparently. He has his ship and multiple ships, which I've learned are almost like satellite type ships or drones. He programs them and they go out, I guess, and then come back to his main ship. and give information or data and things like that. Again, I don't really know what their ships look like on the outside. What I can say for sure is that I was definitely walking in one at the time that I first met C. And it was a fairly big room that I walked into. So I imagine the vessel itself was fairly, I don't know, a respectable size in that regard. But I don't know exact dimensions or exactly what it looked like on the outside or anything like that, unfortunately. So, but I did learn that about him. So when he met me in the beginning, he made himself about that tall, probably just to make sure that he didn't seem intimidating or anything like that. So I was very excited to learn more about him. So, yeah, I had a kind of, I've since been growing, in my relationship with him. And I had another dream. It was a very odd dream. I didn't know it was a dream. And I was in these ruins, and there were these old ruins, and I was standing in them, and I was trying to perform some kind of movement or motion or something in this area, this little platform area. And I remember seeing large walls, but they looked destroyed. And there were like golden shells as a decor on some of the walls. But I don't know where I was. And I remember trying to do this movement, and I didn't see that there was some kind of exposed, something behind me was, some kind of material was exposed from the rock behind me, and it was volatile, and I didn't realize it. But whatever it was, it exploded. And I remember there being a big explosion, and I was knocked onto the ground, and there was debris all around me. And I just remember feeling this feeling of being lifted and picked up very lightly, just effortlessly, just lifted. And I remember hearing C and kind of seeing his face. And I remember him telling me, he said, I'm always going to be here for you, no matter what. And I said, I remember thinking to myself, I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. So I just remember him telling me that, and then taking me away from that, whatever was going on. It was an explosion, but that was a dream where I knew I was communicating with him at that point, and it made me feel really good that he said that. And so his voice to me is, it's not deep. It's not a very deep voice. His voice is, it's very gentle. It's a soft voice, a gentle voice. It's a male voice, but not deep. It's not a deep, deep voice. It's more, the way he speaks is very soft, very gentle, but still masculine. It's hard to describe. So I had that dream. And as I told some of my friends about the experience of me having a dream or having an experience with an ET, I remember one of them said something like, well, you have to be mindful because, sometimes they're looking for, I guess, DNA or children or something like that. I don't know too much about it. I've done some research online and discovered, I guess, for some people, they've had experiences like that where the focus is children or something of that nature. Not necessarily with Arcturians, but with just ETs in general. I don't know what kind of ETs, but just with ETs in general. So I told them, I said, that doesn't make any sense for me though, because I cannot have children. And my DNA it's not optimal. My genetics does not construct collagen correctly. And collagen is the building block of your body. So those were two aspects about myself that kind of removes me from that whole arena. And one of them, one of my friends, they just said, well, maybe they're there just looking for companionship. And I have the feeling that it is about companionship, and I think it's also about healing and elevating my vibrations, elevating my energy, which I'm all about. So, let's see. I had, at some point I had another reading, and I remember Christina asking, if anything had gone, if anything was okay, if everything was okay with C. And I said, as far as I know, everything's okay. And she said, he looks very sad right now. He just looks really, really sad. And she said, are they very close to energy? Are they very in line with energy? And I said, yes. I said, after some research, I learned that they're kind of guardians of Earth in a sense, I guess. And very almost angelic minded in that type of sense, very caring. And she said, he seems really sad. I think about what's going on in the world right now. And I said, that makes sense. I said, I'm sure he's pretty sad about everything. And at that point, I stopped kind of feeling him around me, around my house. And it was a long while that I didn't feel like I could reach him or reach out to him. He just seemed like he had gone for a while. And when he returned, he seemed to be in much better spirits. And then after that, I remember learning that I guess they have to go home at some point. Arcturians do have to go back home or spend some time away from everything else and just spend some time with that home energy. So I guess that's where he went. He must have gone home and then returned. So I was happy to see that he was feeling better. What I understand from him is that, from what I am told from him, is that he's nonviolent, he's peaceful, he is all about divine love, harmony, healing, and that vibrational elevation, being true to the goodness of your soul, learning how to forgive, letting go of pain and bitterness, taking a step forward, very, very loving, very, very gentle. That's the type of energy that I feel from him. I don't feel anything about chaos or confusion or violence or anything intense that regards harsh actions or anything of that nature. I don't detect that from him at all. His is protective, loving, peaceful, and healing, and guided with truth. So that's what I feel from him. It's such a beautiful energy, very beautiful. So those are my experiences. I will give one more before I go, because this video is getting a little long. Recently, I had a meditation where I saw a female Arcturian, and she put her hands on my shoulders, and she smiled at me. And there were many others kind of just touching my shoulders in a circle, and they just touched my shoulders. And I recognized, like, she has these little freckles that almost seem like a pale green color on her pretty blue skin. She was smiling at me, and I don't know who the others were that were touching my shoulders in a circle. I don't know who they were, but that was the meditation that I had. I feel like she's very close to me. Very, very close. But she introduced herself to me, and then she stepped away. So I haven't had any more interactions with her after that day. But I feel like she'll come when it's time. So that's it. Those are my experiences with the Arcturians. Thank you for joining me. I hope that some of these experiences resonate with you. And I would be very interested in hearing if you have any of your own experiences that you have had with any kind of ET. Thank you so much for being with me. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you again. Thank you so much, and take care. Goodbye.